Today we are going to show you how to set up a new vendor in Accounts Payable. First, open ProFund Accounting and click on Accounts Payable, Vendor Maintenance, then click on New. You will need to enter a 6-digit code for the new vendor and make sure there are no apostrophes in the code. Try using a standard format that will help you identify the vendor easily. We would suggest using the first 3 letters of the first main name of the vendor and the first 3 letters on the second vendor name or one that sticks out. If the vendor is an individual instead of a company, use the first 3 initials of their last name, then the first 3 initials of their first name for easy identification. For our example, let's use MATINC for Materials Incorporated. Next, if the vendor has a customer number for you, feel free to enter it in the customer number area. Now let's enter the full name, complete address, along with the city, state, and zip code. Next, you'll enter the phone number and the fax number. If an email address is available, please feel free to enter that in the email section. Next, you enter the federal ID number. The federal ID number is very important and is used for calculating 1099s at the end of the year. If the vendor is a company, enter the federal ID number with a dash. However, if the vendor is an unincorporated individual, enter their 9-digit Social Security number without dashes. Now let's determine the invoice terms. Let's say the vendor's terms are $210 net 30. This would mean that the vendor allows a 2% discount if the invoice is paid within 10 days. Otherwise, the invoice is due in full in 30 days. Now let's fill in that necessary information. The terms code should be D. The terms factor field is not used at this time. The net days should be 30, and the discount days should be 10. The discount percentage should be 2. Please note that with the percentages, if it is a whole number, such as 2%, you would enter as 2. But if it is 1.5%, you will need to enter it as 1.5. If your vendor requires a blanket PO, check the PO box and enter the PO number that pertains to that vendor. Now we will need to click on the 1099 Info tab. Here you need to check the 1099 box if the vendor is required to have a 1099 issued to them. Next, you will need to determine the correct box number on the 1099 form that the dollar amount needs to be posted in. The system defaults to box 3. However, payments to attorneys are in box 7 and healthcare providers are in box 6, and so forth. Please check out the link appearing on your screen now for up-to-date information from the IRS. Next, if the 1099 needs to go to a different address, you'll need to enter that information on this tab and click the Use This Address box. If it doesn't go to a different address, simply leave it blank. Next, click Save, and you have successfully set up a new vendor.